Hey everybody, Sanavi here. I just wanted to take a few minutes to do an update to my Cyclone Shockwave Slayer build that I posted a few days ago. It's received a ton of views, so thank you. That was very unexpected. And more importantly, I've gotten some really great feedback and suggestions that I think is going to make the build a lot better. So I've completely redone the POB. I'm going to go over that in a little bit and post the new POB in the video description. But I also wanted to show a little bit of footage. So I know some people were like, hey, I want to see what this looks like. So I leveled a Duelist up really quick on standard, and then just got out of Act 10 actually. I was streaming last night, so I'm like 68 right now. And I currently just have a 4-link Cyclone, regular Cyclone. And then I have like my Poacher's Mark with Mark on hit, a Leap Slam set up, and then I have my auras here. I have War Banner. I'm actually going to take War Banner out because I don't want to simulate, I don't want to turn it on because we won't get the buff passively. So I just have Blood and Sand, Flesh and Stone and Pride. I just bought a Cyclone of Tumult and a Stampede, so I want to show you guys what regular Cyclone 4-link looks like just coming into maps, and then we can swap on Tumult with the Stampede real quick, and I can show you what that looks like. So let's go ahead and just grab a map here. We can grab a strand. And I'm just going to transmute this just like I would on League Start to get quick completion. And we'll hop in here. And I have a skill point. I don't even know where I want to put this. We'll just pick up life because it doesn't really matter. You can see on my skill tree, by the way, there's no jewels or cluster jewels. It's just me having picked up points as I leveled the character super quick. And then my gear is like, you know, a very basic staff. And then just like life resistance gear. Nothing crazy. Basic flask setup. So hopefully this gives you guys an idea of what the build should look like when you hit maps. Now, I don't want to use my totems. I have totems right now, even though they're going away tomorrow. I'm treating totems like they are for a boss. So the thing with banners are, you don't want to use your banners ever. Like your banner is for when you get to a boss. You shouldn't need it for just like clearing mobs, because you want to generate your valor and save it so you get the most bang for your buck. So like say we had 50 valor right now, you would blow your like war banner and you get that boost of damage, right? And you can nuke something down. And now we have to kill 50 mobs. I believe it's like 1 mob a second. I'd have to read the revised text, but we'd have to get that valor back up to 50. So that way we can then use the banner and get the full effect when we go to do the boss. So that's basically what Cyclone looks like currently on a 4-link. Let us swap over to Tumult really quick so we can see what that looks like. Swap my gems around. Yeah, and let's get back to it. So now we're using Tumult and Stampede. And we're also on a 5-link now. Granted, my brutality isn't like leveled up at all. And this is also before they're buffing the gems, right? So Cyclone and Cyclone of Tumult haven't received their percentage increase yet, obviously. So, and you know, to me, like, you know, defensively this feels pretty good, and I think the damage is fine considering it's getting, you know, big buffs tomorrow. But that's basically Tumult. So we'll go back to just Cyclone on a 4-link and keep it like realistic to what we're gonna have tomorrow. And I'll swap on my regular boots again. And this is basically why I just wanted to level the character real quick so I can just do some testing. So we'll get to the end of the map so I can show you like on a boss here. So we're gonna, you know, be like, hey, I've got my 50 valor because we just killed a bunch of mobs. And then we're gonna pop our banner essentially like we would. And then we just fight the boss. And that's Cyclone right now, with shit gear and just basic passive tree on a 4-link. So Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest, considering the melee buffs are coming tomorrow. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of footage, and then we can actually now hop over to the Path of Buildings. Let me load that up real quick. I've completely redone this based on all the great feedback you guys have provided. So let me just swap, give me one moment here. I'm very bad, I should have had this prepared for you guys. So this is the new POB. So someone pointed out that we can do loadouts now in POB, which I wasn't aware of. So essentially at the top here, there's all these brackets I've created. So when you click on one, not only does it update the passive skill tree, but it updates the gem selection, the items list, and the configs for that bracket. So I've gotten 2 common questions from the first video. What skills do I use when I level, and when do we swap to Cyclone? So all of that is now in the POB. So you start in the 16 bracket, which is, you know, Act 1 essentially. This shows you what points to take, and then for your skills, we're going to use Frost Blades for clearing and Double Strike for bossing. And then I have all the other possible gems that you can get up until level 16 that I recommend in the selection here. So things like, let me turn Do Not Disturb on real quick, sorry about that. So I have, you know, War Banner, Steel Skin, a Decoy Totem for baiting bosses. So this is what I recommend, skill-wise. For the items, I'm not going to do a gear set for like every leveling bracket. Just basically use the best gear you find. Life, resistances. If it's a pure armor base, that's even better. But what I have done is I've given you like an example of a weapon for each bracket. So, you know, for Frostblades and Double Strike, I've got this one-hand axe. And I've basically created it like I did a vendor recipe and gotten the lowest possible, you know, increased fizz roll you could get from doing the vendor recipe. So that's it basically for the brackets. So you can see when we go to level 36, or sorry, level 32, shows you what to do on the tree. We're now using different gems, and I've got like a 2-hand axe here. So once you complete Act 1, we're no longer using Frost Blades and Double Strike. From that point on, because you get Sunder as a reward at the end of Act 1, we're going to use Sunder and a 2-hand axe all the way through to when we swap to Cyclone in the 60s. So that's why there's a 2-hand axe here now with just a Vendercraft recipe on it, and then we're using Sunder. And once again, these are the supports I recommend that you are able to possibly get until level 32, as well as all the possible gems you can pick up by the time you're level 32. So Poacher's Mark for a curse, you know, Blood Rage, a Molten Shell that you can use manually for defense, and then our ores that we're going to use. And that should be that simple. Just update the brackets and follow the guide. So once again, we go to 46. The tree continues out. We're picking up some axe nodes because we're using axes again because we're using Sunder. We now have a 4-link on our Sunder because we're in Act 5. You should have a 4-link by then. We've now picked up Pride as well as the other 2 auras, etc. And then just a better crafted 2-hand axe. So this is pretty much the progression now of the POB. I think this will help you guys out a lot. The noticeable change is when we swap to Cyclone. I recommend doing this sometime in the 60s, so like Act 9 probably. And when we swap to Cyclone, there's going to be a bit of a respec on the tree, right? We're going to drop out of these axe nodes and change a few things. But we get in the 60s, and this is what the tree looks like. If you go to skills, you're going to see now we're using my 4-link recommendation for Cyclone, as well as my other gem setups. And I've just got a generic like crafted 2-hand staff here, because we're now Cyclone Shockwave. But for the tree, what we're specifically doing in the 60s is we're getting ready for maps. So defensively, we're picking up Fortify on hit. We're picking up Endurance Charge generation here with Disciple of the Unyielding because we don't have the boots yet with the Anoint on them. And then we're also picking up like the staff block nodes. And that's pretty much it for like getting into maps. When we swap to the 70s tree, what we're doing in the 70s is we're trying to max our attack and spell block. So we pick up the rest of the block nodes here. We're going to anoint on our amulet Enigmatic Defense. This is like 3 violets. You should be able to get this super cheap from the currency exchange market. And then we're also picking up Versatile Combatant. And on our item list, my first recommendation that you purchase is a Roomies. So if you get a Roomies, you get the staff block nodes, you get Versatile Combatant, and you anoint this notable here, you will have max attack and spell block. The other thing we do in the 70s is we get one of our rings to have the mana cost reduction on it. This will get our regular Cyclone down to 0. And that's pretty much it. You're just going to craft a better staff, You know, you can spam, you know, lower level contempt essences on it because I'm going to be farming essences, so I should have those. And then it's just, I didn't even put stats on it. It's just life and resistance gear, specifically armor bases if you can get them. And then I recommend using amethyst rings as a base because like chaos is going to be hard to get initially. It just helps you out with trying to get chaos resistance. And then the second unique I recommend you buy is a writhing jar. Since we're playing Slayer, we have a lot of on-kill effects, so like Fortify, Leech, etc. When we have down periods between packs, we can pump this flask, the worms spawn, we hit them, we keep the recovery and everything going. We'll pretty much use this forever. And then that's it for the 70s. After this, we're just working our way to level 90. Level 90 is when things are really going to start to ramp. By this point, you should be able to now pick up a Stampede. This is the third unique I recommend you buy. Once you get a Stampede, we can then start running Cyclone of Tumult. Oh yeah, also on the 70s, should be able to have a 5-link at that point for Cyclone. But by 90, you should be able to get a 6-link super cheap. Like, just getting a 6-link base is super cheap. So you're going to start running Cyclone of Tumult because we're going to have Stampede. We're going to anoint Disciple of the Unyielding on Stampede, so we save these points on the tree down here. And I have a Rise of Lathas here. You don't have to, like, I know these are going to be expensive. You can just use a crafted belt. We lose a bit of damage, but like we have more than enough damage. This is just here saying like, hey, get this belt when you can, because this is like our best in slot belt forever until like you get a Mage Blood. And most of you, respectfully, are never going to have a Mage Blood. So like, this is your best in slot belt. And yeah, it's just basically we're just crafting life and resistances on gear. We're also going to run 2 mana cost reductions now in our rings, not just 1, because there's the additional cost from Tumult. So with 2 mana cost reductions and the nodes we have on the tree, our Cyclone of Tumult is free. And that's it. The other thing you'll do is as you get Eldritch Currency, once you get into red maps from Syrian Exarch and Eater of Worlds, you're just going to spam it on your armor pieces and hope to get these mods. Doesn't matter what tier. These are all like T3, I believe, which is what you should get from the base currency. So just like, even if it's like tier 4, just like get the Pride, get the Cursors, whatever. Those are, they're there to tell you what to get, essentially. And that's it for level 90. This is pretty much where Resolute Technique is going to be before we go to crit. When we convert to crit, the other thing I did was I created level 90 trees instead of level 100s, so it's a bit more realistic for you guys. So I have a level 90 crit conversion tree. I'm going to try to trim this down. This is actually at 95 points. Points are really tight on this build, so you know, you might have to scale back on some life, or might have to scale back on a bit of the offense to actually get it to a pure 90. We have so much damage anyway. You could drop these 2 nodes here, and you could drop, I don't know, a little bit of health and get closer to 90 points essentially. But yeah, it's currently actually at 95 points. I don't know how to rename these or relabel these. But yeah, if I was going to bring this down to 90, I would drop a little bit of health, a little bit of damage. I would keep the jewels, and I'll explain why we're going to keep the jewels in a second. But I would essentially just get rid of a little bit of life and a little bit of damage off the tree. But yeah, what we're doing for crit conversion is we're running a Storm Shroud setup now. So this with 2 Murderous Eye Jewels at 50% chance to avoid being shocked gives us 100% elemental ailment immunity. That's why I was saying don't mess with the jewels on the tree at this point, because we want to go for this. This is going to make our build feel super good when we're mapping, because we're going to be completely unfazed by all that stuff now. And then we're also going to pick up an Abyssus because we're going crit. We're going to start running crit chance rings with, you know, life and resistance mods because we want as much crit as we can get. Crit mods on our amulets. We're also running a cluster jewel setup, so this will be a couple divine, but we want to pick up, we're dropping the fortification wheel, and we're actually getting that now from Overlord, so melee hits with maces, scepters, or staffs, fortify for 6 seconds. This was a great suggestion by one of you guys. So we're doing some changes on the crit build to save points from what we were invested in earlier, and yeah, just crafting a better staff. This is like an 850 Fizz DPS staff, but it's going to be a lot easier to get higher Fizz weapons now, so this will cost you some money, but it's not going to cost you the kind of money it did last league, but still expect to be putting quite a bit of divine into your weapon. This is like the most important thing that you're going to be upgrading. So I was doing like some craft of Exile earlier, and depending on RNG, this could be like 10 to 20 div to get a decent weapon, which might be a lot of money for you guys, but that's what it is with Fizz staffs. Because they don't roll, they can roll elemental and caster mods. They're a lot harder to craft than a Fizz axe, and that's pretty much it for the crit build. This is where a lot of you guys will probably scale out. I have a Giga endgame version, so I plan on going Mage Blood, Progenesis, like doing some crazy stuff with the build. It is this is not what I'm saying is possible for most people. This is what I intend to do. So I will go into this really quickly, but this is what I know I can do, what I plan to do. This is not what I'm saying you should expect from this build. Know yourself, know how you play this game, how much time you're willing to sink into it. I put hundreds of hours a league. It's unhealthy. I'm not trying to say it's reasonable, but this is the end game version that I have right now. And the idea behind this is to be as tanky as possible and also do pretty great damage. So one of the notable things we're doing is we're picking up a Forbidden Flame Flesh, and that's going to give us the Lucky Block from Gladiator. Those are going to be expensive jewels, super expensive jewels. Like I said, this is the like POB warrior stuff here, but I can make this kind of money. I'm not saying this is realistic for other people, but that's going to get us to 88% spell and attack block, which is going to be an insane amount of defense. We're also going to get obviously a Mage Blood, run our flasks. We're going to have a Progenesis, that's really great mitigation. We're going to craft a really high Fizz DPS staff. We're going to run a Light of the Meaning. We've got our Storm Shroud set up. So this is going to give us insane defense, and it's also going to give us pretty great offense. I'd rather play a 40 or 50 million DPS build that is like super fucking tanky than play like a 90 million glass cannon that gets off screen by projectiles and you lose like bars of experience at 99 and just don't feel like playing the game the rest of the day because 2 bars lost at 99 is soul crushing. So this is like, I wouldn't really look at this as an expectation. This is where you should be aiming for. Very good damage, good defense, and this will easily get you through everything in the game. And for some of you, might be a good chase build, depending on how well you can make currency and how many hours you have to play. So I hope that this POB is more helpful. I hope that it answers a lot of the questions that you guys had. And yeah, if you continue to have any other feedback and suggestions that can make the build better, please let me know. I plan on streaming over the weekend. I plan on posting more update videos with the actual character during the league and going over progression and stuff. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing Cyclone. I think it's going to be really good. It won't be like, you know, slam meta good, but I think it's going to be definitely a vibe and a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that watched the video and enjoyed what they saw, and yeah, hope to catch you all later. Thanks.